Howdy, welcome back to the Addicted Motors YouTube channel. My name is Troy, and that is not a Land Rover. So what we have here today is it's an anomaly, and I'm gonna try to make the case that it's probably the coolest car to buy and or import if you're not a car person, but want something fun, interesting, reliable, and quirky. And yeah, let's check this thing out. So what is it? This is an imported, probably a Japanese Classics or one of the local Richmond importers. Toyota Town Ace Super Extra with awesome early 90s livery, great two-tone kind of bluish silver paint, and a cool little kind of cab over chassis van. These I don't know a whole lot about these, but I want to go through the quirks and features. Eat your heart out, Doug DeMuro, because this thing is jam-packed full of them. All right, so what I do know it's under 100,000 miles. It's got a 996cc four-cylinder motor, gas, not diesel, which is great, I think, because you can still get parts for it. A lot of these are diesel when they're imported, and people think that's quirky and cool, but you know, it's really tough to find a lot of parts for engines such as those that weren't mass-produced in the United States. It's also right-hand drive. It also has cloth seats, one swinging door, and 3 rows of seats, curtains, refrigerator, and I mean, it's jam-packed with all types of interesting little goodies. 4-speed automatic transmission with overdrive, and yeah, eat your heart out. I mean, they're super extra. I wasn't joking. That's literally what it's called. So these little vans and K cars and stuff have become increasingly popular over the past few years, and with their increased popularity, have also become quite expensive. You could get one of these imported out the door for 10 grand, you know, probably 7 to 10 grand a couple years ago. But during the pandemic, obviously with the price and everything going up, a lot of these quirky vans, cars, K cars, you know, there's a whole slew of these right-hand drive imported Toyota, Nissan variants that we did not get over in the States, and they're easy to come by now, so people are buying them up, but they cost premium. And that's why I think they're so cool, because, I mean, basically, you can do everything your normal car would do. You know, again, have Toyota reliability, have mechanics that can work on it, and just have something completely interesting, noteworthy. You know, you can bring it to Cars and Coffee. It still performs the daily functions and tasks that you need from a car without a whole lot of sacrifices. And that's why I think these things are so neat. So I really haven't even driven this, really. I drove it from his house to my house, and first impressions and thoughts are it feels completely normal, I guess, getting into the right-hand side of the van. Not a whole lot of seat adjustability as it kind of sits on the wheel well here, but I'm about 6'1", 6'2", and I fit fine. The only thing, I guess, ergonomically that's a little bit different for me is when I get in, because it's the kind of the cab over my kind of bulky right foot, it's awkward kind of getting back on the gas and the brake, and this pedal doesn't have a whole lot of feel, so I can't really tell if I'm on the pedal or not, which again, that really is just me. Whew, boy, I just spent about 30 seconds looking for the hood release, but I keep forgetting there's no hood. The engine is here. It's a mid-engine supercar, so we're gonna forego the rest of that endeavor and focus back on the driver area. All right, so stepping into the cabin, you've got this awesome 90s, I call it bus seat velour, which has held up amazingly well for being almost 30 years old. Typical Toyota window controls, typical Toyota switchgear buttons. You know, there's a gear shifter out of an older 4Runner or a Camry or something like that. But here's where things get a little more interesting, right? Oh, look, there's the brake fluid, maybe? It's in English too, interesting, yeah. Use clean filter cap before .3, yeah, that's brake fluid. So very typical Toyota gauge cluster. Obviously it's in kilometers. Again, super low kilometers, miles. Peppy little engine. Again, still more typical Toyota switchgear and whatnot. You don't have the factory radio anymore, but that's fine. That works great. You've got rear AC. And here's where things get fun, right? You've got these power curtains in the back, which they function. I'm not going to mess with it because the key's not turned on. And also you have these two dual moonroofs as well as a whole bunch of window and seat controls. And not to mention the amount of space you have up here. Again, with this kind of popped up top, you've got plenty of space, plenty of storage. And that's just in the front. A regular e-brake. It all feels very normal and just set up, you know, as you would. But continuing on, that's a little interesting. Hot and cold box. What is this, a Land Rover? Don't know how to open it. Don't want to break it. Not my car. Oh, so that pops open. Here's your ice, cool, warm controls over there. In any other manufacturer, we worry about this not functioning, but this functions and this works, which is pretty neat. All right, jumping over to the passenger side, I love the wraparound front light. I mean, that kind of styling was kind of looked down upon at the end of the 90s, but it's kind of coming back especially with a lot of modern cars. And there are electric applications with rear light bars, if you want to call them that. But yeah, passenger side, again, plenty of room, very Toyota-esque. You're kind of sitting on the wheel well, nothing too crazy on this side, but let's jump into the back seat where things get fun. Swing! All right, so my buddy's kids absolutely love this because it has pivoting 360 swing around seats, or at least this seat, which makes it super fun to drive around in. Obviously, if you're a kid, you've got moonroof controls, you have the moonroof, and imagine all this stuff in 1993, it just didn't exist. Again, cool, awesome velour seats. Here's probably your engine access and whatnot. I'm not gonna go pilfering through that, but I mean, plenty of legroom, plenty of seating. I mean, this doesn't feel like a tiny classified little truck. I mean, this is great. If you fold these seats down, I could definitely sleep in here, and which is what a lot of people do with these. Again, this one's two-wheel drive, which makes it a little more economical, but you know, the four-wheel drive variants and diesel ones, they're lifted, they drive all over the place, they're pretty neat. And you can't really beat it, I guess. I mean, I wasn't expecting to like this so much, but all the materials, the fit and finish is so nice, you can't hate it. It's just not a sports car, it's not an off-roader, so if you don't have any of those desires, then this is perfect. All right, so in the farther back, you've got some more jump seats that kind of fold down. I'm not gonna go ahead and fold all that down right now, but just again, the amount of features this has is wild. Again, especially because this roof's a little popped up. You've got the curtains and everything for privacy. It's awesome. Let's quit piddling around and go take it for a drive. All right, talking about features here. I couldn't get the key out, and I'm sitting here, I'm messing with it, it just won't come out. I look on the stock. Beep. Voila. Interesting. All right, go ahead and fire it up. Again, sounds just like a Toyota, except the rumble of the motor is kind of coming in from behind me. So again, my foot naturally falls where the brake pedal goes, which is fine. That's better than the gas pedal for safety reasons. But look at this view. Perfectly clear, perfectly right out in front of me. Again, this kind of cab-over-ish design is really super functional when it comes to city-ish living. All right, the Super Deluxe on the road. Let's take it for a little spin. Let it warm up a little bit. Awesome driving position. Again, it feels like a totally normal car, not something 30 years old. And I'll roll into the beans here. And that is most of the beans. So, still beating. We're still giving it the beans. And that's 50. So yeah, it's not fast, which is fine. It's not supposed to be fast. And again, it looks like it would be particularly top heavy, but doesn't really drive top heavy or heavy at all. The steering feels nice and tight. It doesn't feel wallowy or anything like that. I mean, it is an extremely compact car, but you know, the dynamics of it aesthetically look like it would not function, you know, normally. It definitely drives like a Corolla, honestly. What else here? yeah, brakes feel good, you know, decent little pop. But it's nice. I mean, it's a Toyota. I think that's what, again, why I titled the video as such. This is, the coolest van you could buy for a non-car person, that someone doesn't want to deal with the trials and tribulations that myself goes through on a daily basis with old British Land Rovers and Jaguars and all the, the maintenance issues that kind of come with that. This is turnkey, arrive and drive, set it and forget it, put your family and have a good time, have something interesting, and just move on. Which, that being said, brings me to the final point of this video. This sweet little Town A Super Deluxe with low mileage is for sale. If you are interested, let me know. Drop a name in the comments. Shoot me an email. It's on Richmond Craigslist and Facebook. It's been maintained and owned by my neighbor. I know him personally. He's also the unfortunate gentleman that just purchased the... that's the wipers, not the turn signal. I've done that before. That just purchased the 2006 LR3, the blue one that I did a video on a couple months back. So he's now living the Land Rover life and has decided that his practical, economical, great running, no issues van is for sale. Which is, that happens. You trade something good for something not so good. I just did a little bit of a turnaround here. Gonna take it back towards my house. And I keep forgetting I'm on the wrong side of the car, which is fine. Give it a nice little acceleration test again. All the way down, revving 40, 45, 50. And we're gonna cut it out there because that's not what this thing is about. But I don't really know. I have nothing really else to say driving dynamic wise. I almost forgot that I was in it, which is good and bad depending on what type of person you are, and I'm really enjoying it. Again, nothing to report. Steering feels great, brakes feel fine, tires are good. It's a good, interesting little truck, and it's seamless. It doesn't feel like you're doing something odd by it being right-hand drive. It's just a Toyota. So I think that's gonna be it. Appreciate you watching this video. Again, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Got a lot of Land Rover content. I'm still working through what to do with the 7.3 turbo diesel for my pickup truck. Man, that's such a rabbit hole, trying to either source a used engine, finding a reman. I don't think I'm gonna rebuild the current engine just because there's too many unknowns and I don't have the money. Oh, man, we're getting in almost Porsche 911 air-cooled and or water-cooled money for replacement engines here, with less of the reputable rebuilders on the Ford side of the house. So that is taking an unfortunate hit to my bank account. So I'll be making no dumb purchases hopefully soon. But this video will be live on Friday. Tomorrow morning we're waking up and rescuing a Range Rover Classic from the middle part of Virginia. So if you're a Range Rover fan, you watch the channel, don't worry guys, there's more coming. Thanks, see you in the next one.